Well, it's been about a month. We kind of got frozen out of the shop here. Major storm, all kind of stuff happening outside. It was not a good situation to work out here. Single degree temperatures. I just gave up on this for about a month. Anyway, last video, we were working on lifting this cab. We lifted the cab, hydraulics, everything looks pretty good below. A little bit of surface rust. I was able to clean up the seat support, put a little bit of undercoating there just to keep the rust. That was just a little bit of surface rust. The next step, I've already removed the glass door, which is in good shape other than a little bit of rust. We'll go over that at a later video. I'm going to replace the weather stripping. One of the issues I'm having is this support that goes across this bump up. That has a little bit of surface rust, no problem. I can refinish that, reuse it. There's a bracket it mounts around here. It's a little tiny thin piece of metal, and this is what's left of it. It's supposed to be kind of a U shape. Right now it's barely an L, but it came off in pieces. It was rusted. Here's the weather stripping that comes off of it. All that can be bought, which I did buy in one of those boxes that I got to open. So that's going to be a project after. I think I'm going to leave the cab open. I got to use this machine a little bit to spread some gravel out in this driveway. So I'm slowly going to be doing this cab, painting. Everything else is in pretty good shape. I'd have this piece here. It's a vent for the heater. Needs to be replaced. So the next step is probably going to be taking out this glass and cleaning that up so I can spray paint, refinish the frame, the top section. And what else? I want to check these lights, make sure they're working. None of the lights were inspected yet. And what else? Then I'll probably slowly work my way down, get the cab complete, the glass installed again, work my way down throughout the machine. That's the plan for now. Let's see what we can accomplish. In the first video, when I was doing a checkout of this machine, everything in this seat was locked up. Everything. The back tilt bar was rusted solid. These tracks did not move. They move fine now. This one, you got to push that down and it moves fine. So all that's been fixed. I'm going to put the seat belt back on, clean this seat up a little bit, get that ready to go back in. Another thing I want to do, check out this roof. It's been right down in here. It's kind of dented a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. And I got a little bit of an idea to get that popped back. It's barely a dent and it's not crushed at all, but I want to pop that out if we're going to do this, do it right. So the idea is to put a support board across from the white rail to the white rail frame. Then maybe a 4x4 up against the roof with a jack, a bottle jack. I'm just going to jack it up a little bit, take the dent out of there so we can get ready to paint that. All right. Got the seat cleaned up. It's not in bad shape. Lots of rust on these seat belts. That was cleaned up. This works now. The stiffness adjustment, the back and forth, and the lever that takes it back. So I cleaned these seat belts up a little bit. Got one rip there. That's fine. It's a nice seat. So I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. You can see the roof was dented. I don't think anything major hit it. But what I have rigged up, I have this. I'm going to try to, so I bolted the cab back down to keep that steady. I'm going to try to jack this up. Hopefully it won't pop out. You can see that bent. That 4x4 is kind of right underneath there. I might have to move it to the, I'm gonna do this one-handed. That looks good. Maybe I'll move it over to the left. All right, I repositioned the jack. I'm gonna try to get this spot out here. I think I'm close to it. I repositioned the jack. Get this spot out here. It's not bad. I'm happy with that. I'm going to try to get this spot here. Hold tight and reposition the jack. Do I sandblast this thing? Which means I'd have to buy a sandblaster. It would be a mess, be a pretty good expense. Or what I just started doing, trying to get this front done, then I'm going to turn my attention on removing the wheels. I want to try to get the bottom section done. Originally I was going to do the top cage, but I think I'm going to work from the worst up to the best. So bought these things on Amazon. They seem to work. They wear out quick, but they do dig down and get the rust pretty clean. Also bought some for just a cheapy drill. I have a Ryobi plug-in drill. I have my DeWalt grinder for the 4-inch disc. Seems to be working pretty well. A couple other things I started down here. These cover plates for the axis below. This had a broken off bolt, so it was sticking out, and a lot of debris got in there just from a gap, probably about an inch gap. So I'm going to either try to retap that hole. I was able to get the bolt out. I'm going to retap it, or I'm just going to use an oversized bolt for that one. But anyway, this is starting to come along. The rust isn't that difficult to get off with those grinding wheels. It's just going to be probably a couple $100 in materials, sandpaper, grinding wheels, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, a sandblaster's a lot more than that. So I'll work my way around to the door. This video is actually helping me remember where all the stickers are. So what I also learned, I use this safety bracket to keep the boom up in case the hydraulics fail. What else did I do? Anyway, I ran this machine for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, playing around. I got a carport I want to put up in that area. It was about 22 tons of recycled concrete. And what I found was this thing never had any fluids underneath of it. But after it sat overnight, there was a leak coming out around this area, and I realized this filter was never really snugged on there very well. I'm hoping that's the issue. I have not seen this engine or the hydraulic system leak anything until I ran it for about 2 hours, but this filter, this tightening area down there was really loose. All right, I'll get started continuing on the front. I got to this stage, a little bit of rust preventative primer. Doesn't look too bad. Pitted, but when I get to this portion, I'm probably going to do a little bit of skimming with some body filler just to make it look nice. I know it's going to get beat up when I use it, but if you're going to do it, make it look pretty for at least a little while. Got my little Jenga blocks, help support the weight, get all this rust out of here, try to get the wheel wells done, and then taking the tires off. probably going to finish those rims. Those tires got a lot of life left in them. I might do Bobcat orange on the rims. Who knows? I don't know. I might do black. Haven't decided yet. But that's the situation right now. And I've only got, I don't know, maybe 6 hours into this thing between the first video messing with the seat, getting the thing going through it to make sure all the fluids are right. So it hasn't been too bad. Get ready to finish the wheels, the rims. I had this roll vinyl. A lot of times I use that for like a deck against the house for flashing when you can't use aluminum for like treated wood and stuff. So this stuff is vinyl. Now a lot of people have different ways of doing this. Some people will take playing cards, like, you know, poker cards, and they'll stuff them all the way around. I've seen people do online with that. This little vinyl seems to work really well. It sticks in the groove all the way around. So I'm going to apply some tape there, and then I have a pattern and can spray these rims without getting it all over the tires. Decided to go with Bobcat orange for the rims. Give it a shot here. Not coming out too well. Much better. Shook up this paint for about 2 minutes. I don't think it was enough. Stuff must have been sitting for a while. One coat. I'll put another thin coat on it. Should be done. Heading out. Work on the Bobcat on this kind of dreary day. At least I got some of the rain last night helped compacting the driveway. The last project the loader did for me starting this little minor restoration. So you might ask, why did you cover it when this thing has spent most of its life outside? I got some tools inside the tarp, a lot easier to keep them there. And I'm doing all this sanding outside for obvious reasons. I don't want to fill my shop up with a bunch of sawdust. Why do I keep saying sawdust? I don't want to fill my shop up with a bunch of paint and rust that these grinding wheels throw off. Well, I've come to a stopping point and I'm going to try something different here with the paint stripping. And this worked pretty well. I used to strip paint off of some old cars. This stuff called citrus strip. I like it. I actually did some rims and stripped the clear coat off of the old Ford alloy rims. And I did mix it with like a mineral spirits to make it a little less gel-like, and it worked really well. So I'm gonna let this stuff sit on some test areas I did here and all under here. See if it, I mean, this, I don't know if this stuff, I doubt if it freezes, but it's been in my shop for forever, and figured I'd give it another try. But got the hubs pretty clean, wire brushed. This section here, I used the wire wheel. But that's the update right now. It's kind of a sit and wait thing, and see if this stuff works as good as I remember. Here's where I am right now. Got the front taken care of and primed, and the side, I didn't do a lot of sanding. The only sanding I did was right here. What I did was that citrus strip, I used it. And if you don't believe this stuff works, check this out. It works. Now, if you read reviews online, there's people that say it doesn't work, didn't do anything, it's a waste of time. There's also a lot of good reviews. It's a stripper. It's going to take some time. This stripping stuff here, this sat for overnight at least. So that's what causes this. If you can let it sit, keep it wet. So if you could keep the gel a little bit wet where it doesn't dry out as much, you'll get a better result. I also did a little bit up here, but as you can see, it takes, if you have the time and you don't want to sand, it will go layer by layer. Now, I may recoat this. I'm going away for a couple days, so I may recoat this and just let it sit. It's less work. Then when you get into areas like here and here where you can't necessarily get a sander in there and it's tight quarters, this is the kind of stuff that I think works the best. So anyway, I'm going to do some scraping and some sanding and see where we go from there. Nice sunny day, a lot of sanding. Wheel I switched to that wire wheel, had gloves on, and this little sucker, one of those sanding pads, nipped my glove, took the tip of my finger off, but I'm alright, used to it. Got everything first coat prime. I'm probably going to do a little body filler and fill in some of the pits, maybe. Then I got a problem here. I'm probably going to weld, grind that down. I don't know what caused that. I can't figure out how the arms would possibly hit that, or maybe somebody was chaining it there. Got the back primed and working my way around to this side. I'm still using some of that citrus strip just to get the bulk of the paint off, and then I use the grinding wheels to get the remainder. So I think I'm going to stop right on this edge and try to get all this painted all the way around, put the wheels back on over on the other side, take these off and work underneath again. It's coming along, hour here, hour there. I put some of the citrus strip on last night. We get direct sunlight coming this way, so I waited for the sun to go down because I didn't want to dry this stuff out. So it's been sitting on here for about, I don't know, 12 hours or so. Not bad. I think I'm going to leave it do its magic for a while. And today's plan is take these wheels off, get my Jenga blocks underneath so I can pull the cover, see if there's anything interesting behind that, and start stripping the bottom section of white paint underneath there. I'd like to get the entire bottom section of the machine and the uprights here, all the paint removed and coat primer put on. Then I'll probably do a little bit of light sanding, knock down some of the high spots, any runs, And finally, when everything's done, there's some gouges in the steel. I'm gonna probably use a little bit of Bondo to surface skim it, but I'm not gonna go crazy. You know, it's a machine. It lifts gravel, it lifts rock and dirt, but by now you probably know that I have to make it fairly close to looking nice. So I got the machine pretty stable. I shook it a little bit, seems balanced. I have a couple jacks on the back. That's the main concern, is tipping front to back. Anyway, I'm going to knock off some of the dirt and loose stuff with a more safer option. Variable speed, old cheapy plug-in drill with a wire wheel. I think now what I'm going to do is put a coat of the citrus stripper on here and let it sit. I just wanted to get mainly the dirt off. I could have power washed this and probably would have been easier, but it's it's stripper's taking everything off anyway. So I had some old stripper that sat in the barn for about 3 years. It's a bright orange color. And then I have this newer stuff that seems more like a milky tangerine. Not sure if the old stuff was any good, but it did work. The newer stuff works a little better. Well, got it back inside. I could no longer scrape and sand and everything outside. I had a lot of wind, a lot of really bad weather lately. For April, it was pretty cold, couldn't do much. I let a lot of the citrus strip sit for days. But what I didn't get this on video. I got the undercarriage done, painted 2 coats of the Bobcat white. Also up underneath there was all stripped. Rims are done in an earlier part of this video. They were put on. Lug nuts torqued down because I probably won't be taking these off for a while. So basically most things are primed except for the arms. I think I'm going to wrap this video up for this part of it. And the next video I'm going to focus on the bob attach. It's got a little bit of play on it in the pins. It's got a lot of play in the tilt pin. So I want to take that off, see if it's the pin or if it's the actual bob attach that is reamed out or egged out or whatever. So I'm going to take that off. Plus it needs to be cleaned up. It looks like at one time somebody had replaced this stuff here. It's not that rusted compared to the rest of the machine. But anyway, I'll be doing that next video. So I appreciate you watching. Come back and see how the next part of this turns out.